Everyone, welcome to the Red Sox versus Rays pre-series preview. Just in about a half hour, the Red Sox are getting ready to get underway with their fifth series of the 2022 MLB campaign down in Tropicana Field. It's good to be back. I'm David. If you forgot who I am, I missed an episode. I procrastinated on the college project, so my fault. But we're back for this, and I am once again joined by my two co-hosts who did a great job last night, Ian and Brady. How are you guys
Welcome back,
doing?
David.
How's it going?
Good, good. So, Red Sox Rays rematch of the 2021 ALDS, a series we all hold dear to our heart that wrapped up 6 months ago. Red Sox, in their magical playoff run last year, took down the Tampa Bay Rays in 4 games, and this is the first time that they're facing off against them this season. So, before we get into anything specific, just talk about the Tampa Bay Rays for me, guys. I mean, if you want to take a look at the lineup here, a lot of the players we definitely need to respect on this team. The Rays are known as being a scrappy team, not having very flashy players or high profile names. But you have the likes of Lowe, who hit 39 homers last year, Wander Franco, a certified Red Sox killer who's going to be with the Rays for a very long time, Randy Arozarena, another exciting young player for Tampa, Yandy Diaz, Manuel Margot, Mike Zunino, who can hit for power too. I mean, like I said, just not the biggest household names, but these are all guys that every team needs to respect. If you guys want to give
Yeah,
your
you got.
opinions.
Yeah, so the Rays, every year people underestimate how good the Rays are going to be. But after what, this is the third or fourth year in a row, are people underrating the Rays anymore? I know some people are still, but I don't really know how you can underrate how good this team is. They have a really good young pitching staff led by Shane McClanahan, and they don't even have Tyler Glasnow back. And on the offensive side, like you said, Wander Franco is already a star. Randy Arozarena is a super good player. Brandon Lau is one of the most underrated players in baseball. So they have a lot of great pieces, and it's going to be a tough series for the Sox coming off of, the loss to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, the Rays are another lucky receiver of the Heim Bloom treatment. And, they
Your
made
good friend
those,
Heim Bloom.
my good friend Heim Bloom, they made those, under the table signings of these guys that are going to be really beneficial in the years to come. Guys, like you said, like Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, Shane McClanahan, Shane Boz, all these guys, they're a young team. They're a scrappy team. They're an under the radar team. Yet year after year, they continue to prove more and more. And that's something that the Rays, they're scary. I'm just going to say they're scary because you underestimate them and then they come out and, they do the Rays and they score. And, they always go underrated.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Rays are one of the teams that plenty of people project to be part of this four-horse dogfight in the AL East this year. Obviously, you got us, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. So, I don't know how they keep on doing it, but the Rays just continue to get it done. And I respect it. I mean, they just develop players. They're one of the best organizations in the MLB at developing pitching as is. They always seem to have a good farm system. And they're going to be right in the thick of it again, whether they make the playoffs or not. You always got to respect the Rays. So far this year, Tampa is sitting at 7-6. They had a series against. They opened up the season against the Baltimore Orioles, and they swept the Orioles. I believe they split. Yeah, they split, or sorry, they lost 3 or 4 to Oakland, and they lost 2 or 3 to the Chicago, and they took 2 or 3 just from the Cubs in the last series. So, getting into the pitching matchups for this series against Boston, Red Sox versus Rays, the pitching matchup tonight is going to be Michael Wacha on the bump for the Red Sox versus Corey Kluber on the bump for the Rays. Wacha, so far this year, has no record, but has a 0.96 ERA. He actually spent last season with the Tampa Bay Rays, and last season with Tampa, he went 3-5 with a 5.05 ERA. Wacha's been a pleasant surprise so far. Again, you can't take too much stock out of 2 starts from someone at the back end of the rotation, but the early returns are great. You'd like him to get a little bit deeper in his starts. I don't think he's gotten past 5 innings yet, but he only gave up 1 run against Detroit. And in his last start against Minnesota, he was great. So you look at someone like him to hopefully put in another good start tonight. And then on the flip side, you have Corey Kluber. In his first year with Tampa, so far this year, he's 0-0, no record with a 1.86 ERA. He won the Cy Young way back in 2014. And what's funny to me is that it seems like every single offseason the Red Sox have had interest in Corey Kluber, but he's just never ended up signing with us. So you have the former Tampa Bay Ray going up against his former team, and you have a guy like Corey Kluber who, even at 36 years old, give or take 1 or 2 seasons, has always been a solid pitcher in the MLB. So if you ask me, fellas, I think we could be looking at a pitcher's duel tonight.
I entirely agree. Waka is sort of been the Red Sox sleeper guy. I mean, I don't see him as one of our. I mean, we have 5 starters. You can't really say your top starter. Obviously, your number 1 guy, but he's not flashy, but he throws good, and I mean, he wins games, and I like what he does. Kluber, on the other hand, he's sort of been flying under the radar since he left the Cleveland Guardians now. When he went to Texas, he just sort of lost his touch, and then with the Yankees, he just, he didn't play as much games, so he didn't get to show as much as he did. But now that he's with Tampa Bay, I believe he's there 3 or 4. He has more of a chance to prove himself. He's like, hey, I'm 36, but he's still a solid pitcher, and I think that's going to be part of what he proves tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Corey Kluber does with Tampa. I don't really know how good he's been as of recently, but I feel like if there's any organization that can turn around a pitcher, it would probably be Tampa Bay. So I could honestly see Corey Kluber having a career renaissance with the Rays, and there's been times in the past where he's kind of carved up the Red Sox. So I guess we'll have to see what happens with tonight, even if he's in his older kind of stage of his career. Michael Wacha, on the other hand, he pitched really well the last time out. Arguably, he was the best pitcher on that road, on that homestand the last time out. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what Wacha does. You're kind of playing catch-22 with Wacha, where you never really know what you're going to get. So hopefully we get another solid start. If he goes 5 innings, that's fine with me. Just hopefully you have the right bullpen pieces behind him.
Yeah, and Kluber really did find his footing again with Tampa Bay. He hasn't pitched too many games, but he has a 1.86 ERA compared to his 3.83 from last year. So, I mean, who knows what we're going to see from him tonight, but it should be a nice rubber match.
Yeah, and I mean, if he has a good outing tonight, Tampa Bay Rays fans are going to be screaming, he's only 36, like us Celtics fans do with Al Horford, because he's 35. Anywho, little crossover in sports there. That's the matchup for tonight's game. That's going to be happening in almost 20 minutes now. The game tomorrow, Garrett Whitlock's on the bump for the Red Sox. Whitlock is making his first career MLB start. So far this year, he's 1-0 with a 0.93 ERA. Just building off what he did last year is an integral part of the Sox pitching staff. And I'm going to need a little bit of help with this one, guys, because I tried to look up who Tampa's starting tomorrow, and I guess they haven't announced it, as it just said TBD. So, no Rasmussen for them pitched a few days ago, but he only went a couple innings and got roughed up. Yarborough's on the IL. Like Ian said, Glasnow's not available either. So I don't want to speculate. I don't know too much about the rest of the Rays pitching staff, but it seems like this would be a typical Tampa game where they throw a starter out there, like reliever for a few innings, and then just play it from there. But as far as I know, we know who the Red Sox are starting. That's Garrett Whitlock. I don't know. Do you guys know anything about the whole Tampa situation, or he's lost his mate?
Nothing here.
Okay, so we'll just spend the majority of the time talking about Whitlock here. So Whitlock only had that one little blemish this year, and I wouldn't even really call it a blemish in his first outing against New York, where he gave up the tying homer to, I believe, DJ LeMahieu in the bottom of the 8th to tie it up in the opener. Other than that, Garrett Whitlock, just like last year, has been nails. I mean, it seems like a long time coming. A lot of people have been pushing for Garrett Whitlock to start. I know we've had debates in these post and pre-series shows about whether Whitlock should be a starter now or if that shouldn't happen. We should just keep him in the bullpen for the time being. This is clearly just a spot start, in my opinion. And Cora, or not Cora now because Cora is sidelined because of COVID, but the Red Sox are pushing Evaldi's start to the next series in Toronto so that we can have Evaldi pitch then, because Evaldi would have been slated to pitch in this series, but we want to have him pitch in a bigger series or in another big series against Toronto where it's important we take a game in that next series. So we're pushing Evaldi's start out a day. We're having Whitlock start now. It's his first career start. What are your guys' expectations for how Whitlock's going to do tomorrow? Do you think they're just going to let him pitch as far as he can go? Do you think he's going to go 4 or 5 innings and it could be a bullpen day? Like, what are you guys thinking out of Whitlock tomorrow?
Honestly, I could see Whitlock only going like 2 or 3 innings to start the game. I honestly don't see Whitlock having a long start. If anything, I feel like what their plan is going to be is they're going to have Whitlock start the game, and then they're going to have someone like Cutter Crawford come in, and hopefully he can, get through a couple innings and eat up innings. And they'll probably just play a bullpen game when it comes to Whitlock. At least that's just what I think.
Yeah, I entirely agree with you. But if we're looking at the future, Whitlock is one of those guys that has that endurance that we're talking about. He can go a few innings like we want them to, and he's gonna keep throwing strikes. He's young. He has a young arm. He's coming off of he had Tommy John a few years ago. So Whitlock, he's a strong guy, and I could see him going long. But this is one of those games that's really just gonna be a bullpen game.
Yeah, I mean, now that you guys said that, I can certainly understand that. I can see 2 to 4 innings. I'll throw that out there. Going back to what I said, I think this just all goes back to Tanner Houck's whole situation with him not being vaccinated. So he can't pitch in Toronto. So instead of having the likes of Pivetta, it would have probably been Pivetta, Waka, and Hill pitching against Toronto next series. You have Evaldi pitching in one of those games, so at least he gives us a fighting chance. No disrespect to someone like Pivetta, but Pivetta has not been hot so far this year. And if you can push Evaldi another day back and have a chance to win a game against Toronto next season or next series, you do it. But we'll see what Whitlock can do. I'm excited. I'm sure he's excited. And one way or another, I mean, anytime he comes onto the mound or anytime he's on the mound for the Red Sox, I feel confident he's going to give you a chance to win. So if you ask me tomorrow, again, it's really weird how we don't know who's Tampa's starter is. I mean, they've done that in the past where they're very cryptic about not really revealing who's on the bump to begin the game. In years past, they've done that before. But regardless of who's on the mound for Tampa, I'll just say that Whitlock gives us a good chance to win the game tomorrow, personally, just because of how good he is. So we'll move to the third and final game of this 3-game series. It'll be on Sunday. It'll be a 1:35 game, I believe. And Rich Hill will be on the bump for Boston versus Shane McClanahan, the young phenom for Tampa. Rich Hill, 0-1 so far this year with a 7.00 ERA. He got roughed up in his last start on Marathon Monday against the Twins, only going 4 2/3 innings, giving up 6 hits and 4 earned runs. On the flip side, Shane McClanahan so far this year is 0-1 with a 2.40 ERA. He's only given up 4 earned runs across 3 starts this year so far. He was rookie last year, and in 25 starts last season for Tampa, he went 10-6 with a 3.43 ERA. He pitched 123 1/3 innings last year, and he's only 24 years old. So on paper, this certainly looks like an outing that could give the Red Sox some trouble. Rich Hill, also a former Tampa Bay Ray, last year pitched with Tampa. Maybe we can get something out of him. I mean, you need something out of him because he's just not been invoking optimism to the Red Sox pitching staff so far this year. But I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty pessimistic about how this game could potentially go for the Red Sox, especially with someone like McClanahan, who's a great young pitcher for Tampa, as Ian talked about too. I'm not too hot about this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think any Red Sox fan's gonna be. Obviously, McClanahan's one of the better young pitchers in baseball, and he could have easily snagged Rookie of the Year last year if it weren't for Randy Arozarena. However, Rich Hill just, he's older. He's not the greatest. I'm pretty sure he's tied for the oldest player in baseball. It's just he lost his touch a few years ago, and he's a fifth. He's obviously our fifth starter, and we're gonna keep him as our fifth starter, obviously, because he's not the greatest. I am just rambling to all HE double hockey sticks here. I'm so sorry.
No, no worries.
It'll be.
He's not good. He's just not good.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, we can't really. I mean, it's kind of hard to ask a whole lot out of a guy who's in his 40s to eat up innings still. But you'd like to see a little more out of Hill. I remember the Sox torched McClanahan in the playoffs, so I don't know. Maybe that happens again, hopefully. But we'll have to see what happens. McClanahan has a lot of talent, though, and I'm happy. I'm hoping that he has a successful career because he's a really good pitcher.
So before we wrap this up, like we always do, we'll just talk about advantages and disadvantages for each side, X factors potentially. Is anything stick out to you guys? I mean, for pitching for Tampa, I think Corey Kluber and McClanahan are two good pitchers to put on the mound. And Walker's been good so far this year, but you don't know what's to expect from him just based on his career stats. So we could get roughed up this year. But I do think we're putting up a heck of a pitcher in game 2 with Whitlock. So at the end of the day, I would probably give the slight edge to Tampa in pitching. But hitting, I mean, I think the Red Sox probably have a little bit better of a lineup there. Obviously, the Rays traded Austin Meadows right before the season started, and they still do have a lot of respectable names, as I talked about beforehand. But I would probably give the Red Sox the upper hand offensively. I'll pass it off to you guys to talk about any of your thoughts on advantages or disadvantages for each side.
Well, I feel like the X factor for either side, it's obviously going to be the pitching, because the Rays, they have Shane McClanahan. Again, we said it once, we'll say it a million times. He's a strong young guy. And the Red Sox, our rotation isn't strong, but having Whitlock there is going to be like a refresher to this whole thing. Plus, not only that, like you said, the Red Sox, we're stronger in the whole, just batting. So I'm, again, rambling. But see, honestly, couldn't have said it better. Whatever you guys said it better than I could have.
Yeah, I agree with you, David. The pitching is going to be really important in this series. And the Red Sox bats kind of have to wake up. And another X factor could probably be hitting with runners in scoring position. They were dreadful in that against Toronto. So they definitely need to work on that. And that definitely needs to be a big thing.
Could the wind be an X factor in a place like Tropicana Field, like it was in Fenway when that gust of wind knocked that ball away? I think whatever happened there. I missed it, but I saw a run scored, I think, because we couldn't catch the pop fly because of the wind. So the wind's definitely a factor in Tropicana Field, right?
No, but the low ceiling is.
Oh God. Flashbacks to game 1 of the ALDS. Alrighty, guys. Before we wrap up, let's give our series predictions here. Who wants to go first? You want to take it, Brady?
Sure, I will. I have unfortunately, I have the Red Sox dropping the series 1 and 2, just like we did with the Blue Jays series. I have us taking game 2. I have us dropping games 1 and 3. I just don't feel like the pitching is strong enough. Waka could make something happen, and we could take the series 2-1. But as of right now, I have the Rays winning that game.
Yeah, I'm honestly taking the more biased approach here, but honestly, I think the Sox can win this series. Like, they haven't been playing awful, but once they figure out how to hit with runners in scoring position, and maybe this happens tonight, I can definitely see the Red Sox taking the series. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Red Sox.
I'm going to side with Ian. I'm picking the Red Sox to win 2-3 in this series. I think they're going to win tonight with Walker on the bump. I don't know if Walker is going to continue to do great. I'm not saying that, but I do think one way or another, either Walker pitches well and we score just enough, or Walker doesn't pitch amazingly, but maybe he pitches decent, but the Red Sox offense does more than enough to suffice. I think we'll win game 1. I think we'll win tomorrow on the mound with Garrett Whitlock against whoever the Tampa Bay Rays throw up there. I just think Whitlock's going to be put in a great spot tomorrow, no matter how long he pitches, just to keep us in the game, whether it's 2 innings like you guys hypothesized or me saying 4 innings. I think Whitlock's going to be great. I think the offense is going to ride off that, and we're going to be able to take tomorrow's game too. But I don't think we'll be able to get the sweep done, as I think the Rays are going to take Game 3 on Sunday with McClanahan on the mound. That's not to say maybe he finally puts together a good outing. I really don't blame that Detroit outing on Hill. He just had that one bad outing, or that one bad inning, in that game with Christian Arroyo's defense not really helping matters and right. But maybe Hill can give you something. But I just think McClanahan's just an overall better pitcher. So, I don't think the Red Sox will get the sweep, but sure, I'm going to say that they're going to take 2 or 3.
Honestly, I think you guys have persuaded me enough. I will say take it 2 or 3. But
wow, we persuaded you.
Entirely depends on if tonight the Red Sox pitch Ryan Brazier, because you know how I hate Ryan Brazier.
Oh, yeah. That's a legendary quote from Brady in one of our play-by-play broadcasts. I won't repeat it because it's not safe, not appropriate, but Brady had a legendary quote about his love for Brian Brazier.
Oh, yeah. I've brought a little show and tell.
Did you?
Daniel Vogelbach.
Oh, the babe. Oh, no.
Hey, he hit a home run last night in Chicago.
Shut up.
He hit a home run. He went like dead center too.
Oh no!
I will say one thing that we need to look out for. We've been talking about players that haven't performed the best this year. We kind of need to look at first base, because I'm not sure Travis Shaw and Bobby Dahlbeck are really, they're not doing it right now. And you had your own show and tell, Brady, but someone's coming for Bobby Dahlbeck's job.
Oh, yeah.
He's waiting.
Showed me that.
He's waiting in Worcester right now. He's coming.
He is waiting in Worcester. I have his first Bowman right here.
I think.
But yeah, he's coming.
He'll be up by June, right? I mean, I think he has to be up by June.
He's got to be. He's too good. He's too good.
It'll be interesting. Red Sox also did a little lineup shuffling tonight. I know. So Story's staying in the leadoff spot, and Kike's all the way down to 5th. What are your guys' thoughts about that quickly?
This is actually something me and Brady talked on the post-series show. We talked
about
how we liked Story leadoff and moving Kike down. So it's kind of funny that this actually happened.
It's also nice to see the little throwback of JBJ going back to his home in center field.
Yes, so like the Celtics listen to BSML Celtics, I think maybe John Henry's listening to BSML Red Sox or Chaim Bloom. Brady's got that connection now. He's networking. Brady's going to be leaving us soon for a job in the Red Sox front office. But anyways, that's going to do it for this pre-series preview. We're really cutting it close here as the Red Sox Rays game is about to start in 8 minutes. Make sure you catch that. Make sure you catch us all after the Red Sox versus Rays series wraps up. We're in a post-series recap coming probably sometime Sunday afternoon after the game ends. We post every day on Instagram. Make sure to follow us over there at BSML.Red Sox. Follow all of our personals, I guess. Sure. And follow us on YouTube. Hit the like button. We got content coming for you guys every day. Just jump on the ride. It's been a fun ride so far, and the journey's not going to stop. The grind doesn't stop. I feel like a motivational YouTuber. But anyways, that's going to do it for this pre-series preview. I'm David, joined by Brady and Ian. We'll talk to you guys next time.